witch Meg discovers on her 17th birthday that she has only 1 year left to live. The only way to break the curse is to leave her safe life behind and embark on adventures to collect tears of joy and plant the seed of life. Throughout this journey, she will face many challenges. Our story begins with a girl named Meg and her small pet, which resembles a dog but is actually a different kind of animal. We also see some other animals with her as she prepares a special formula using her supernatural powers. She uses her power directly, and we see the substance respond automatically, emitting a glowing light. After successfully completing the experiment, Meg steps out and enters a room where an elderly woman is waiting. We do not yet know who this woman is. She could be Meg's superior. The woman prepares tea for her, and then Meg goes on to prepare food for both her domestic and wild animals. After everyone eats, the elderly woman calls Meg again and tells her, "Meg, you will die in a year." Meg looks at her in shock and replies, "No one knows the unseen except God, so you cannot predict anything." Today is Meg's 17th birthday, and the woman explains that she is not simply making a prediction. Meg is cursed. She tells Meg that she has been sentenced to death on her next birthday. The curse has already been activated. It is an ancient curse unknown to modern witches. The old woman then shows Meg a vision of the possible future. Meg will suddenly fall ill, rapidly age, and become an old woman after turning 18. That she will age at a rate 1,000 times faster than normal. 10 years will pass in just 3 days. After a month, she will be 100 years old, and then the curse will kill her. Meg is horrified and begs for a way to break the curse. "Save me, madam. I know that we all will die one day, but please save me from this curse." The elderly woman sadly informs her that there is no way to cure her at the moment. However, she explains that Meg is afflicted by a rare disease rather than a simple curse. Unfortunately, there is no known cure. The woman then enchants a glass bottle and hands it to Meg, saying, "From today onward, you must collect shards of emotions in this bottle." In other words, you need to gather the strong emotions that people experience. There is something called the seed of life, which is created from joy. Among all human emotions, joy, anger, sadness, and pleasure, joy, is the most essential. You must collect joyful emotions from different people. The tears shed by people when they are truly happy, tears of joy, are the key ingredient needed to create the seed of life. This is the only cure for your illness, the only way to prevent your death on your next birthday. Meg asks, "How many tears must I collect to obtain the seed?" The woman answers, "You need to collect 1,000 tears within 12 months from people who experience genuine happiness." This task is nearly impossible. Meg becomes frustrated and storms outside, overwhelmed with sadness. "I will fall ill in a year and could actually die. What should I do?" Just then, a girl approaches her and asks, "Are you the apprentice of Madame Faust?" Meg replies, "Yes." The girl introduces herself as Anna and explains that she has come to request flowers from Madame Faust for her mother, hoping they will bring her comfort. Anna reveals that her mother has been hospitalized for a long time, but she has finally been allowed to return home. However, she remains in a deep sleep. Anna's father told her that her mother is merely resting after working hard for so long. Anna wants to give her fragrant flowers to help her relax. Hearing this, Meg recalls losing her own parents, or rather, she doesn't remember anything about them. Madame Faust had taken her in and provided her with full care. Meg tells Anna, "I will personally deliver the flowers to your mother and fulfill your wish." Together, they set out in search of the beautiful pink flowers that Anna's mother had always wanted. As they walk, many people recognize Meg as the girl who serves Madame Faust. Faust is widely known, one of the 7 sages. However, Meg suddenly remembers her impending death and her mood darkens. Later, they arrive at Anna's home, where they meet Anna's father, Hennedy. Hennedy is a frequent customer of Madame Faust, regularly purchasing medicine from her. Meg often delivers the medicine to him. Hennedy prepares tea for them, and as Meg looks around, she notices that he has an impressive collection of rare herbs. He explains that his late wife used to collect them as a hobby, though he doesn't know their use. It becomes clear that Anna's mother has passed away and that Anna wants flowers to place on her grave. Hennedy reminisces about the past, remembering the wonderful moments he shared with his wife. But time spares no one. Everyone eventually leaves this world. Meg serves them her special tea, secretly adding one of her secret mixtures. Afterward, they visit Anna's mother's grave and recite prayers for her. Anna then asks, "Do you think that witch can bring my mother back to life?" Meg responds, "That is impossible. The one who created her and took her soul is the only one who can return her to life, but that will happen in the afterlife. Only God has the power to bring the dead back." Anna's father remains silent, staring at his late wife's picture with deep sorrow in his eyes. At that moment, Hennedy arrives and says, "I postponed some of my work to come here. Have you discovered anything about the flower?" Meg tells him there is a very beautiful flower that might be the one you're looking for. It's called the cherry blossom tree in the Far East. It's a type of cherry blossom that blooms at the beginning of spring. She then turns to Anna and says, "Your mother rests in peace as long as she was happy in her past life. These are matters of the unseen that I do not know, but you should pray for her every day." Hearing this, Anna's father begins to cry, and Anna also sheds tears. He embraces his daughter, telling her that he will always be with her, and that as long as he is alive, he will never let her feel alone. At that moment, 2 drops of tears of joy, are collected. At the end of the day, Anna thanks Meg for everything she has done for her. When Meg finally returns home, Madame Faust asks her about her day. Meg tells her that she collected 2 tears. Upon inspecting them, Madame Faust informs her, "These are not the tears you need. They are a mixture of sorrow and joy. These are not pure tears of happiness." She then warns Meg, "You are the one who will face your fate. You can either give up and wait for death, which is inevitable, or you can travel the world searching for and collecting true tears of joy. You must remain optimistic." Determined, Meg decides to gather the 1,000 tears. What adventures await Meg in her endless journey? Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates. A week had passed since Meg learned about her impending death. She began to wonder how quickly she could collect the tears she needed in the time she had left. That's when the Owl Shiro wrote to her, advising her to collect 3 joyful tears a day. But Meg found that nearly impossible. She cried out in frustration. Just then, Fenny walked in and asked, "Why are you screaming like that?" Meg started crying and asked for her help. She told Fenny the whole story. Fenny asked, "Can't Faust heal you?" Meg shook her head. "It's a congenital illness. Faust can't cure it. The only way to heal is by filling this bottle with joyful tears." "But that's so hard! I've only collected 2 in a whole week, and they weren't even happy tears." Then Meg looked at her and asked, "Why are you here anyway?" Fenny told her she came to see Faust. Later, we see Meg and Fenny together in Faust's room. Fenny hands her an old clock and says, "Can you fix this for me? Even the clockmaker couldn't do it." Faust takes one look and says, "The spirit of the clock has weakened." Seeing their confusion, she explains, "Everything, living or not, gets a fairy inside once it finds its purpose. That fairy is its driving force. But the spirit in this clock, it's gone. It can't be repaired. Still, there's a tiny glimmer of hope. You should take it to Mr. Geppetto's shop." So the 2 girls head to Mr. Geppetto's. When he sees the clock, he tells them it's an old German military-style piece, crafted with precision and care. But whether he can fix it or not, he's not sure. He needs time to examine it properly. Meg suggests Fenny buy a new clock. They have plenty of elegant, cheap ones around. But Fenny refuses. She's deeply attached to her clock. She tells Meg how sad she feels about it. And then suddenly breaks down crying. "How are you this calm, knowing you're going to die?" she asks. Meg gently tries to calm her. "It's just how you are, Fenny. You've always been like this." She remembers their first meeting in school, Meg lying on the floor after being beaten up by the other girls, and Fenny coming over crying, saying she felt so sorry for her. That's how their friendship began. Back in the present, Meg tells her not to be sad, to smile. "I don't plan on dying and leaving you all alone." Just then, Mr. Bishopio returns. "I'm sorry, I couldn't fix the clock. It's reached the end of its life." Fenny understands. She says, "The clock will stay with her anyway. It's a precious memory of her late grandfather, and she was very attached to it." Outside the shop, Meg draws a small memorial on the ground, a thank you to the items that served faithfully over the years. Then she places the clock in the center of a magical circle, starts chanting, and uses her A green crystal rises from the clock, lifting into the sky and scattering into tiny shards of light. Meg smiles and tells Fenny, "That's a sign. It means your grandfather's spirit knows the clock has been honored." Fenny bursts into tears and thanks Meg deeply. They sit together and talk. Fenny tells her that when Meg used magic on the clock, a flood of memories with her grandfather came rushing back. Later, we see Meg walking home, and she's collected one more joyful tear. Along the way, she sees Granny Flair carrying a shopping bag. Meg takes it from her and walks her home. Granny Flair thanks her and invites her to visit again sometime, but as Meg walks away and Granny enters her home, Meg sees something that freezes her in place. An eerie shadow hovering around the old woman, like a ghost. She remembers the past, walking with Faust and seeing a man surrounded by that same dark shadow, and how that man died soon after. That's when she realizes the truth. That black mist, that's the sign of death closing in, and that shadow, it's called the Reaper. We return to the present where Meg is having lunch with Faust. Meg asks, Isn't there any way to save someone who's surrounded by a Reaper? Faust replies firmly, "That's forbidden. Tampering with fate is strictly prohibited." Meg, however, suggests using the seeds of life, but before she can finish, Faust cuts her off and ends the conversation. Frustrated, Meg stands up. "Why won't you talk about it? I want to save people. And I'm going to be surrounded by a Reaper soon, too. I'm going to die. But I won't abandon those I can still save." She storms out of the room. Later, Meg visits Grandma Fleur and tells her she left home and wants to stay over. Grandma warmly welcomes her and offers her some food. Then she says with a soft laugh, "Fighting with Faust, huh? That's how people grow closer. I used to argue with my husband all the time, even though I loved him dearly." Meg asks if she can stay for a while, and Grandma Fleur happily agrees. That night, as everyone sleeps, Meg tells Grandma Fleur, "This bed smells like flowers." Grandma smiles. "I tend the garden so much, maybe the scent just followed me here." Meg hesitates, then asks, "How long has it been since your son moved away? Have you seen him recently?" Grandma replies that she rarely sees him anymore. He's busy with work. After a short silence, Grandma notices Meg isn't asleep. "What's troubling you, dear?" she asks. Meg tries to play it off. "It's nothing. I'm fine." But Grandma gently reassures her, "I'm always here if you need someone to talk to. Just remember to keep smiling, all right?" Meg, now alone with her thoughts, quietly vows to herself, "I have to find a way to save Grandma Fleur." 3 days pass since Meg moved in. She spends every spare moment researching in the spell books from the library, looking for a way to stop the Reaper, but no matter how hard she tries, she finds nothing, and day by day, the Reaper's shadow around Grandma Fleur grows darker and stronger. One day, Meg and Grandma Fleur go to a large old tree. "This tree holds so many memories," Grandma says. "My childhood, my family. I've always taken care of it." But when Meg places her hands on the tree, she senses something off. Its magical energy is fading. The tree will die soon, just like Grandma Fleur. Meg then asks quietly, "If tomorrow were the end of the world, what would you want to do before it ends?" Grandma smiles. "I'd want to spend the day with my family." That night, Meg and her owl, Shiro, sneak out of the house. Using her magic, she and Shiro fly far away to gather Grandma Fleur's family. The next morning, as Grandma looks for Meg, she finds her, and behind her, her whole family. They laugh, play, and spend time together full of love and joy. Grandma turns to Meg, eyes full of tears. "Thank you. I've met many witches in my life, but you're the only one who's ever stood by me like this. I love you so much." But the shadow around her deepens. And finally, Grandma Fleur passes away. Meg cries until Faust appears. "She's at peace now," Faust says softly. "She spent her last days surrounded by the people she loved. And that's all thanks to you, Meg." Then Faust looks at her and adds, "You must not die, Meg, because you know when people's time is near, you have to live. Long enough to help them, to bring them happiness in their final days." And that's where today's episode ends. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single moment. Then we see Meg watching television. The announcer is talking about the 7 Sages of World Magic Conference being held in North America. There has been much discussion about recent changes in the ecosystem, disasters, and magic. The conference concluded with a joint statement urging an expert field survey as soon as possible. The scene shifts to a week before this event. The teacher told Meg that she would be absent for a period of time. The teacher informs her that she is going to North America, where the 7 sages will meet in the Sages Council. We return to the present, where Meg sees that there is a festival in North America where Sophie Heider, one of the 7 sages, held an amazing parade. Meg gets angry and turns off the television, saying, "Why all this? She's just a girl my age. There's nothing between us that makes the whole world call her princess, and she's the main focus of internet users. Why am I not among the 7 sages?" She was so angry that she went to sleep. The next morning, Meg wakes up to that foul stench when Inori places her foot on her mouth. She then introduces herself, saying her name is Inori, one of the 7 sages and the Sage of Wisdom. When Meg asked her why she was there, the other Inori told her that magic is currently causing changes in the ecosystem. Since her mistress went to investigate the matter, she mentioned while there that she would be slightly delayed. Therefore, she recommended that I, Inori, return to you to check on you. Meg gets angry and tells her, "How so? I'm 17 years old now. I can do the housework. There's no need to check on me." The other informed her that her mistress isn't specifically worried about her, but rather worried about her house. Meg agrees for Inori to stay with her at the house for a few days until the teacher returns. While this is happening, Meg gets up and brings her the herbs she had prepared herself and gathered from the forest. The lovely herbal tea is a nerve stimulant and also gives a nice feeling, makes a sweet brain. They drink the tea, and Inori is very impressed by this lovely drink. Meg tells her that she planted these things in the garden. Then she remembers her first day with the teacher when she told her, "Starting today, you must take good care of this forest." Meg got angry and told her, "I won't be able to do this." The teacher told her not to object, as this was her duty in this house. Here, Meg decided to take care of that garden and planted beautiful green things until it became this incredibly wonderful, amazing herb garden. Inori congratulated her on that, saying, "Although we have polluted the air and cut down the forests, the earth is no longer as it is supposed to be. When humans intervene, they destroy everything, ruining crops and progeny. Despite that, you have done wonderful work in such conditions." Inori asks her, "What would you do if you possessed power?" She told her she would become famous, gather many men, and enjoy herself with them. The other Inori told her, "You are hopeless. No need to continue. This isn't a goal, it's triviality." So Inori asked her about what pleasure means to her. She replied that she loves food and drinks. Then Meg takes her and washes her feet in hot water, where Inori relaxes a lot. She had been working hard recently and didn't find time to bathe in the last few days. Then she asks Meg to become her assistant after she finishes her training, as they will develop medicines together as partners. Then they will work with pharmaceutical companies to conduct research on natural ingredients and study their effects. She wants an assistant with extensive knowledge of plants. Meg agrees to this, but she doesn't know her mistress's opinion. Inori replied that's why she told her after she finishes her training. The period of youth is suitable for having adventures, as she herself traveled around the world when she was 10 years old. Meg wishes she could travel the world, like her. Inori asked her why she doesn't think about it, as long as she has no specific goals or future dreams. Meg told her she wants to conquer the world. Then the scene shifts to night, where we see Meg sitting alone in the forest meditating. Inori comes to her at that time. Meg asked her why she didn't sit beside her and meditate with her. She told her that she is the Sage of Wisdom. She is a genius who developed her magic through knowledge and inspiration. Meg asked her what she would do if she were told she would die after a year. Inori did not answer her. Then Inori tells her that she feels like Meg is the one who wants to die or has died before, as her reaction seemed flat when they talked about the future. Meg told her that she had died before due to some curse. Inori understands that she needs to acquire immortality from the seed of life to prevent the effect of sudden aging. Then Inori asked her how many tears of joy she had collected so far. Meg answered that she had collected 4 tears, and only 2 pure tears of joy. Then she tells her that she has been doing her best since she promised Grandmother Flare to live for her sake too, but she is a failure. Then she continued her words, saying that her mistress said, "The seed of life is made from joy, so she must collect fragments of emotions. She thinks she is strong." Inori replies that she doesn't know about this. Meg gets angry at her because she is the Sage of Wisdom. How could she not know? Inori replied that they did not use emotions in contemporary magic, but it is said from ancient times that tears have mysterious powers, as all that is related to dreams and the like, which are matters she does not fancy. Inori asked Meg to give her the vial. Meg agrees to that. Then she tells her that if she gave her all her wealth, the tears, she could break it if she wished, but Inori did not do anything to it, and when Inori looks at it, she feels a mysterious power within it. Meg asks her if she were asked to collect 1,000 tears of joy in a year, how would she do it? Inori thinks for a little, then tells her that she would gather data to determine what makes them tears of joy. Then she would design medicines and spells to recreate those conditions and search for test samples. This is what scientists do. But it would likely be difficult to apply in practice. Meg told her that she would tell her something honest. She was overwhelmed with happiness when Inori asked her to become her assistant. She wants to live somewhere other than Lapis, so she agreed to that, and she was excited to stand at a door leading to the rest of the vast world. Then she says that several weeks have passed since her mistress asked her to collect tears of joy. Then people say she is very optimistic, but she also knows that collecting 1,000 tears within a year might be impossible. Inori asked her if she was giving up or not. Meg thinks for a bit, then said that at some stage she tried to accept her death instead of trying to live. Inori scoffs at her. Meg gets angry at her because she is laughing at her while she talks about death. Inori apologized to her, then told her that she is very stupid. She almost gave up without realizing it. Meg said, "You want to wage war against me?" Inori apologizes to her, saying, "I will show you something special since you are ready to die. You will see why I am one of the 7 sages." She explains, "You know the meteor shower will be at its peak tonight, but it might be difficult to see meteors because the moon is full. The sky is clear, but it is very bright." Meg replied to her, "I wished I could see a shooting star. I would wish for money." Then Inori tells her to watch the power of one of the 7 sages. Meg looks at the sky and is astonished by its appearance. It is filled with stars. Inori told her, "You would probably have to travel to the ends of the earth to see a sight like this, but this isn't all." Then Meg replied to her saying, "You are right, although I wasn't worried about anything. I had given up and tried to accept my death, but I realized something after seeing the meteor shower. The possibilities of magic have no limits." Then Inori asks her to make a wish for the thing she desires most. Meg replied to her, "To control the world and survival. I do not want to die, then become a witch who roams this world." Then Inori told her, "You will become a brilliant witch." Then the scene shifts to the palace/mansion. Grandmother Faust returns from her travel and thanks Inori for taking care of Meg. Inori asks Grandmother Faust to make Meg her future assistant. Grandmother Faust replied that Meg is young, but when that time comes, it would not be a bad idea. Inori speaks with Meg. "It's better than dying. You will become my right hand, so you must live, even if it costs you your life." Meg agrees, saying to her, "I will become a greater witch than both of you." Then Meg says to herself, "I think the Sage of Wisdom has granted me a dream that waits for me after I overcome this year. A dream of possibilities and a world I haven't seen yet. So, for the time being, I think I will do what I can to deal with what is in front of me." Weeks later, we learn that the Otherworld Festival is 1 week away, and many tourists came to Lapis to communicate with the inhabitants of the Otherworld. Witch Faust will announce the start of the festival by opening the Otherworld Gate. Then she met with Mayor Carter. Then we go to the palace/mansion and see Faust is very exhausted. Meg told her she contacted Hindi. She must rest for a while, but Faust refuses, saying, "How will I open the gate in a week?" Meg said to herself, "I forgot the date of the Otherworld Festival. Meg thinks that it should be canceled this year." Faust answered her that she won't be able to release the magical energy. It's possible she could summon a substitute. In the morning, Meg wakes from her sleep and goes outside to find Witch Sophie. Then she screams loudly, saying she is a ghost. Then we see Witch Sophie with Faust. Faust says she will stay here for a few days. Sophie will open the Otherworld Gate, and my Faust back will be healed after that. She asks Meg to accompany Sophie until she regains her ability to move. You know a lot about the city and the Otherworld Gate. Sophie is a genius. Learn what you can from her. This is how today's episode of This Anime ends. Wait for us in the upcoming episodes. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell icon so that you receive all that is new. We see Sophia came to the palace and Mistress Faust told her, "You must learn from her. She is truly phenomenal and intelligent. She is one of the 7 sages, nicknamed the Genius, at the age of 7. She has come here to open the gate to the Otherworld Festival because the mistress is still ill." Here, Meg begins to get to know her and flatter her so that she might teach her some things. Then they set off together, but the weather was very cold. So cold that the river had frozen. Meg tries to talk to her and bring up more topics, but Sophia remains silent. Then they start talking, and Sophia asks her, "What is your alias? Perhaps you have a nickname you enjoy very much. What is it?" The other girl told her that she is Meg, and she loves this name very much. Ever since she met Mistress Faust, she has been calling her by this name. She grew up and saw this palace with its wonderful garden. Here they approach the entrance to the city, and here Sophia transforms into another form so as not to cause a great commotion by entering in her true appearance as everyone knows her. Then they enter the city and walk through the market. Everyone greets Meg because she is Faust's student. Everyone knows her and points at her as well, but after that, Meg gets very angry at all this talk. Then she speaks to Sophia and says to her, "You are very skilled. When you disguised yourself, that was truly the best thing you did." Finally, they arrive at the place, or the arena, where the gate is opened. Sophia does some things where she constructs the gate virtually, applying illusion magic, and creates a very large gate. Meg asks her, "How did you learn this, Sophia?" She told her that this matter is simple. First, you must understand the mechanisms of science and physics, and then she recreated it using supernatural abilities. Creation is not difficult with this basic knowledge. After that, they go to the restaurant to eat, where the food was delicious, and Meg tells her that this bakery is the best place in the city. Sophia then asks her, "Why did you learn this magic and these supernatural abilities?" The other girl told her that she was an orphan without a father or mother, so Mistress Faust took her to her palace and adopted her. where magic was a natural part of her life. It is what she wants to do with this magic to earn a lot of money, but the priority is to survive and live a quiet and healthy life. Sophia was very composed and told her that in our current world, there are more effective ways to make money and live a long life instead of using this foolish magic. And since your choice of magic was just a coincidence, you don't have a clear goal for studying it. I think magic is not good, and I don't like it. My goal is to rid that world of it in any way possible. I will get rid of magic because it took everything from me. Meg listened, completely mesmerized by the words. Sophia then tells her that she cannot learn magic unless she gets rid of everything. She must get rid of everything to strive for her goals. That is the best way to learn magic as quickly as possible. Meg thinks she is joking with her because Sophia knows that the Blessing Witch, who influences people with her beautiful magic, wants to get rid of magic entirely. After that, Meg gets angry because Sophia ate her food. Then, Meg returns to her house and thinks about what happened between her and Sophia. She is angry because Sophia told her that her goal is to rid the world of magic. But she is right. If she hadn't gotten involved in magic, she would have earned $1 billion as an actress because of her beauty and wouldn't have announced her death after a year. Then, she keeps overeating because she cannot clear her mind. Then, she gets up to make some tea and Faust comes to her at that time. She was able to get out of bed quickly because the herbal compress that Meg gave her was very helpful. Then, Faust asked her about Sophia, and she told her that she collapsed in the drawing room as soon as they returned. Then she told her that Sophia said she wanted to get rid of magic, and that she possessed many things. Faust replied that perhaps this was from Sophia's point of view. Meg didn't understand her, so Faust asked her if she knew how old Sophia was when she left home or not. Meng replied that she knew she left when she became a sage at the age of 17. Faust answered her that she was 5 years old and that her intelligence was greater than everyone else's, but her intelligence was not in her favor and no one tried to accept her. Then she tells her that Sophia was born in a small northern country with immense magical abilities, and because of that and her blue hair and red eyes, people nicknamed her the Demon Child. Then Sophia showed her genius at an early age, but that made those around her, even her parents, distance themselves from her. Sophia's magic blossomed when she turned 5, but in the north, where awareness of magic was still limited, it was considered the work of the devil. In the end, the Magic Council embraced Sophia and raised her. The dearest people abandoned Sophia because of her family's abilities. Despite their similar circumstances, she and Meg is surrounded by people, so she is lucky in that regard. Meg understands at that moment why Sophia hates magic and cannot stand seeing her studying magic by chance without a specific goal. Then Meg asked Faust why Sophia performs magic around the world. Faust answered her because she is still looking for what connects her to others, as she believes she will one day gain appreciation if she makes people happy using magic. She is trying to use magic to regain what she lost because of it. Then Faust asked Meg not to compare herself to Sophia. She knows that Meg is weak, loud, and foolish. Meg's only strength is her kitchen skills, but she has never felt a trace of corruption in her heart. The light within her will melt the ice within Sophia. Meg continues to think about Sophia because she doesn't want to leave her as she is. It is the next morning, and Meg is at home when Winnie comes to her, bringing her a gift. Meg takes it from her to open it. Winnie looks at all the things on the ground, and Meg tells her that opening the gate requires the creation of all 7 levels of magic techniques. And since they asked for help to take care of that, it is her duty to collect the materials. Winnie asks her if the person they asked for help will be all right. Sophia comes to them at that moment and asks Meg about the copper. Where did she put it? When Winnie sees her, she is shocked because Sophia is one of the 7 sages. Meg and Sophia train a lot. Then Meg says, "I've created the 7th and final technique. We're ready for the Otherworld Festival tomorrow. Our efforts over the past few days have paid off, even though my own efforts to do this didn't succeed, but the technique for maintaining the stability of the spatial connection looks a little different from my mistress's technique. Sophia is impressed by her intelligence and observation. You've made the gate wider than last year. The gate has been stable so far, but it's too small to be an entrance and an exit." Then Meg replies, "I understand. This way, more inhabitants of the other world will be able to attend, making the festival more lively. But who knows what might happen if I made the gate unstable? We should consult Faust. I've worked on large-scale spells before. This structure will work, and There's no problem. I'll risk my life if I have to. After that, they go to the city and see more people. Meg says the Otherworld Festival is about to begin. Then she tells Sophia, I love magic, and I think I'm doing this with you now because of magic. The place where you were born isn't the only place you belong. If you feel lonely, come hang out with me. We'll attract many spectators and make huge profits. Sophia replies, I'll kill you soon. The next day, the festival begins, and we see people amazed by this world. Sophia begins to activate the first, second, and third techniques, and they make contact with the other world. Then, Meg activates the fourth and fifth techniques, using support magic to maintain the stability of space and fix it. Sophia then activates the gate and establishes the barrier. Suddenly, this monster emerges, but Meg confronts it. They are very frightened, Meg says. There are also dangerous things in the other world, unknown pathogens and legendary monsters that no longer exist, things capable of killing millions with a touch. The barrier confronts those things and eliminates them, but it breaks down. Meg asks Sophia to reshape the barrier technique. Then Meg attacks it using her magic and deflecting many blows, and succeeds in killing it. They are very happy with her. Then Meg says, I can't believe there wasn't a problem, even though the barrier broke down. Sophia tells her, it would have been a problem if left as it was for a few days, but it won't be that impactful. You dealt with it head on. You were too quick to judge. Meg replies, my nose was stuffed with tissues during the closing remarks. I ignored it even though I noticed it earlier. Also, the apprentice witch only cooks if she makes a mistake. You are about to hold a wonderful festival. I didn't want to leave you with sad memories of Leaves. This scene we see is from your favor. Then Meg thanks her and takes her so they can go. Thus ends today's episode of this anime. In the upcoming episodes, if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.